Let's put up some more numbers here. This is an Ipsos Reid poll, which admittedly is a year old, but I suspect it hasn't changed at all. This is the trust people have in Canadian professions. The percentage of Canadians who say they trust firefighters is very high, 88%. Doctors, 75%. Police officers, 57%. Chiropractors, 43%, and then appropriately at the bottom, TV and radio personalities.
Well, I notice you don't have lawyers up there. I think it'd probably be lower than TV or radio
they
personalities.
might be lower. That is true. The trust in police officers number, which is 57% there, has declined 12% since 2007. From your perspective, is that decline in trust in the police warranted?
Well, in a perfect world, there would be a complete sort of unity of the relationship between the public and the police. We'd be looking at 100%. But the reality is that the world has changed. And I think, if anything, the reality on this particular issue has changed for a couple of reasons. One is video. There's no doubt that the police are under a greater degree of scrutiny because of social media and other aspects of video that are outside of the area of social media. CCTV, surveillance cameras, internal police cameras that become public because of other criminal trials and lead the public, and sometimes we end up doing some of these investigations, to say, you know, what's going on here? And I think also there's generally been less deference to authority in our society as time has gone on. So I think when you combine these two concepts, it means that you are going to end up with less deference to the police, who are really, in many ways, for the public, the ultimate authority and the most visible.
But would you say the police aren't necessarily any worse or more egregious at their jobs today, but they just get caught more because everybody's got a cell phone now?
That's a very difficult question because, of course, what's your comparator? How do you know? But I do know this. There is going to be more social media in this area. There's going to be more videotaping of police on the streets. And there's going to be more videotaping of both excessive and reasonable uses of force. And the public are going to be looking at this, and they're going to be making their own decisions on this issue. And say even 10, 15 years ago, it wasn't really that long ago. I mean, the world really changed, probably with the Rodney King incident in the U.S., no doubt with the Robert Jacansky case in Vancouver with the tasering at the Vancouver airport. And of course, we have a very recent experience in this city with the SIU team case.
Indeed.
And the reality is there's going to be more video, not less. So, you know, my personal view of how the police should respond to this issue is they should embrace civilian oversight more than they do now, because they're not going to win this battle. This is going to end up in the public's eye, whether the police like it or not. So what's the way to deal with it? The way to deal with it is to guarantee that when there's serious injury and death cases, that they're thoroughly investigated by an independent agency that is transparent, that communicates its results to the public. I think in many ways, and some of the police will disagree with me on this point, the police and the SIU are in the same business. We're in the business of public trust, facilitating public trust in the police. They view it perhaps a little differently than I, but I think the more sophisticated, the good leaders are going to say, look, we're in the same business. And the way to deal with this issue is for the good leaders in policing to embrace civilian oversight and embrace the SIU.